Hi gardening friends, welcome back to Sprigs and Sprouts. In this episode I wanted to give you a tour of my August 9th garden to see what's growing in my garden this month. Okay, as always I thought we'd start with this bed. This is the cucamelon plant and it's doing really well. I'm getting lots of production on this. I don't know if you can see those. There's just tons growing in there. And here, the green beans, there's lots of production of the green beans along here. So here we have the indigo rose cherry tomato, and I love the way it looks. It's amazing. When it's ripe on the bottom, it goes like a reddish pink color. I will grow these again. However, I have to say I probably will only grow one plant going forward. I'm not going to produce a ton of these because in my opinion it's a very bland flavor. It's not super flavorful. There's much tastier tomatoes that I'm growing, but they look great in a salad or other vegetable dishes. So also in this bed you can see I have a lot of lettuce here, romaine and leaf largely, and I'm allowing them to go to seed, which I will collect more seeds for next year. In this bed it's much of the same story. A lot of my lettuce is going to seed. However, there are a few winners for the summer season. One of them is this one here, and you can see it's much smaller than the others and they're not bitter yet, they're still growing. It's the pomegranate romaine. They're great. This one here, it's like a blushed color lettuce and it's called Cougar. Again, it stood up really well to the summer heat. And then if you notice in here, it's like a speckled leafed lettuce here. It's called Jester. And another one that has really stood up well to the summer heat. So I'll definitely grow those for summer production. So along here, I have a few potato beds. This one I've already harvested, and I've got another video that you can watch above here on how I harvested that and what I planted in this bed. This bed I haven't harvested yet, but will be doing so soon. So here's the bed that I've really intensively planted, actually mostly by accident, but I wanted to show you a few things. Here are my Brussels sprouts. Now earlier in the season, if you remember, I had a bug infestation in them, but they look really good right now. I've sprayed them with neem oil just the one time and it seems to have eradicated the pests. Also, you'll see that I have squash growing along here by accident, but it is producing. If you look through here, you can see that there's some acorn squash producing. Also, you can see beans seem to be a theme in my garden. The more of the Italian pole beans, and it's producing a ton of beans. I also planted kale along here, which is doing really well. I've also got hot banana peppers growing here, and we have been harvesting quite a few of those. And the carrots, these carrots are doing really well. I'm happy with the germination rate in this bed, so that's been doing well. And if you peek on just to the other side, you'll see that I have incredible tomato production coming. Look at the size of some of these tomatoes. They are huge and they are abundant. I'm going to get a bumper crop of these yellow heirloom tomatoes. So look at these cucumbers that are producing. These are the Market More cucumbers. Look at that. Yeah, I got another one here. And look up here. This is what it's about when you're harvesting in August. And I think I even have more over here. Oh, look at this one here, another one. I also have in this bed, we just back up a little bit, which I should harvest right now, some zucchini plants. I also have some Swiss chard, and that's doing fantastic. So the only thing that's not doing well are my onions. And I kind of suspected that was what was going to happen this year, but we'll try again next year for onions. This is what happens when you have overnight rain. Look at the size of this zucchini. I'll cut it because it needs to be harvested. Look at that. And then there's another one on this plant that needs to be harvested. We are in prime harvest season right now. I'll just leave that there. So here we have another potato bed. These are the Yukon Golds that I'm growing here. Haven't harvested them yet, and I won't probably for quite some time. I also have some Bronze Torch tomatoes. Bronze Torch. I highly recommend growing them. Look at the color. And they are super sweet. So I definitely recommend them. Another sweet treat in my garden this year is my cantaloupe. It's my first year growing cantaloupe. So this one it's a really nice size. And I'm thinking that it might be close to picking even. And come along through here and I'll show you a few more. So there's one forming here, another good size one here, and a few more over here. So they're doing super well. And if you just scan over here, you can see my paste tomatoes in this bed here, and also to our left. So right now I'm standing in between what was my garlic beds. These two beds were planted out by garlic, and we harvested them together and planted them out together. Look at how well they're doing. Here we have the beans that are growing up here really well. I planted carrots and I covered them with cardboard, and this ensured excellent germination rate even though it was in the heat of the summer. Here we have, and you can, if you zoom in here, you can see the Tokyo Market turnips, and they're just about ready to harvest. I also transplanted my eggplant and my peppers that were really struggling in the other bed. I transplanted these in mid-July, and look at how healthy they are. So in this bed, I planted more beans, I planted some carrots, there's a few kale seedlings that are up, and I also planted arugula and lettuce. So all of those things are doing well, and I'll be able to be harvesting as a cut and come again approach with this lettuce. So this really helps us to see that succession planting is really impactful. You'll be able to continue harvesting different vegetables throughout your growing season, and it maximizes the space that you have. Over here is my asparagus bed. I've never grown asparagus before, so I trust that these are doing what they're supposed to. But I did interplant parsley and kale in this bed, and I just wanted to show you how well the kale is doing. Look at the kale. There's no bug damage at all. It's amazing, because typically I've found that I really only get successful harvests in the fall usually with my kale, but this summer has been amazing. So I've got lots of kale production, and as well tons of parsley as well. Okay, so here I have two beet beds. My red beet bed, and I struggled with that early in the season, but has it ever done well? I've been harvesting tons and tons of beets and greens. The same is true of my Touchstone Gold beets. In this bed here, it's my carrots, and we have been harvesting a ton of carrots. So lots more to harvest here. We also have butternut squash growing. You can see them forming here. Can you see that? The fruits. Lots of butternut. In this bed we have more tomatoes. Here we have sweet potato, and the sweet potato leaves, the vine here, is completely edible, so you can use that in soups and stews and stir fries. Some people enjoy them in salads as well, but that's super healthy, doing well. Here we have more acorn squash, and we're getting quite a few fruits on these plants here. You can see they're good size. And I also have chard planted here, a red chard, and kale, and some more carrots, and I'm sure that will be good for fall eating. Continuing along in the rest of the garden, we have lots more squash. We've got some butternut squashes forming here. We have tons of spaghetti squash, more butternut, and that's pretty much it in my garden, in the vegetable garden right now. But as you can see, there's tons of production. One thing my garden has taught me this year is don't give up. When things don't do well in the beginning of spring, it doesn't mean that that's what it's going to be for the rest of the year. So super happy so far. And when you think, I only started this garden 10 months ago and we're getting all of this production. So I hope that you enjoyed this video today. If you did, please consider giving me a thumbs up and subscribe for more videos to come.